Blog Talk Radio.
Tell you how we do it. There ain't nothing to it. We're gonna get right to it. You ready? You ready? This is the ProMMANow.com radio network.
What a weekend that is upon us. Two huge cards going down the Ohio Vet. Well, more than two, but two that we're going to talk about tonight. NAAFS goes down in Canton Saturday night. Cody Garbrandt, Charlie Stanford, huge main event, big implications there. Turf Wars 21 goes down, Turfway Park. Tons of fights to talk about tonight. We're going to talk with the cast of characters of both events. Over 2 hours for your listening enjoyment tonight. Why? Because that's how we do it. And it only comes from one place. It's Bluegrass MMA Live.
Now tuned into the motherfucking greatest.
Fighters first, fans always. The Ohio Valley's #1 source for MMA. Broadcasting on the ProMMANow.com radio network. Brought to you by Bangtown Fightwear. This is Bluegrass MMA Live. And now, here are your hosts, Juan Valley and Gary Thomas.
You could be anywhere in the world, but you're right here with us, and we love you for that. This is Bluegrass MMA Live. This is episode 188. Before 2014 is over with, we will hit 200. Yes, we will. And we do it for you. Tonight we're brought to you, as always, by Bangtown Fightwear. Make sure you go check them out at bangtownfightwear.com. Check out their social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that. Also brought to you by audible.com. Enjoy a free audiobook and 30 free days of Audible services by going to audibletrial.com/ProMMA now. Support this podcast. Get you a free trial. You're going to save a couple bucks. We're going to make a couple bucks. It's really beautiful in the end. It really is. Excited to be back on the road this weekend. Juan was in, where the hell's he at? Somewhere Saturday night. It's going to be another big weekend for him as he goes north with Aaron Garrett. I will be at Turfway Park with the fam. The fam, I mean Gary Copeland, Adam Gomez, you know, the crew we run with. We're never, it feels like we don't, there's no strangers anymore when we're out and about, so that's always a good thing. Be sure you check out the mothership, BluegrassMMA.com, for everything that's going on. We're going to kick off some of our fight previews tomorrow. Some fight predictions will come out Friday. Let us know if you like that stuff. Just comment on those links. Use discuss. Not disgust, but discuss to tell us. You can also, there's a poll out by MMA Creepster himself, Eric Holden, on who has the nicest butt in men's MMA. And of all people, we have Adam Fritz in the lead, followed by MMA is a Sport, Not a Playgirl magazine. Interesting. So, there's that. Lots of fun stuff on the horizon. We've got Bluegrass Brawl coming up in just a few weeks. We've got Valor Fights All-Pro Show kicking November off. We're going to be in Charlotte, North Carolina in November for Fight Lab. Fight Lab also has a big event next week. MFS from the 8-Second Saloon goes down Friday night, which just so happens to be my birthday, so we can all celebrate Saturday at Turfway Park. I expect everything to be bought for me and almost a red carpet to be rolled out. But that's usually how it is anyway when I go up there. Mostly because of this, man, my good friend, matchmaker extraordinaire, Adam Gomez. Adam, what's up, man?
How's it going?
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful day in Kentucky. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, sir. It's always beautiful.
Turf Wars 21 goes down. 21. Man, it does not seem like that many shows. But it's upon us again.
Yeah. And again, November 22nd.
I know. Before we talk about the card, you've branched out your matchmaking skills. I know you helped Anthony Trotter with his last show. That's coming up again. You've hit up the Midwest, up in Illinois, helping out there. You're one of the few guys, and I know a lot, and I see a whole lot of. I don't know. I don't want to offend anybody. I see a whole lot of butthurt from matchmakers from time to time, which it is the toughest job in the sport, hands down, bar none. But you never really seem to complain.
Yeah, I really don't complain. I mean, when you matchmake, you know what you got to deal with, and you know how many. You kind of know which teams and which fighters to deal with and which ones not to. And I think that's what makes it hard is people's shows fall apart or they don't do well because either the promoter and the matchmaker they don't socialize, they don't know the fighters, they don't know the teams, they don't know, and then their card ends up with 7 fights or something, and people are mad, and I don't know. I just try to stay in contact with a lot of fighters, and we put on a good show, and that's it.
As a guy who's been to probably as many shows, there's not many people that can say that they've attended more MMA events than I have, but you're probably right up there on a yearly basis, whether you're a fan or you've got a fighter there or it's your job to matchmake. But as a spectator, what's the number of fights you would say is acceptable for like a $25 to $35 price tag?
I would say the minimum of 12 fights, and now that's fights that are matched. I would say, not some, equally and fair, and just fights that are going to be good fights. You could have 12 fights and it's just a murder out there, and some people might want to see that, but I don't know. In the long run, it's not good, I don't think.
Well, you've always got to have room for your new guys. You always got to you're giving people opportunities they've never fought, so you never really know about those, other than the fact you can know where they come from, right? They come from good gyms and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I try not to put somebody that's not too, well skilled with somebody that might be a new first-time fighter, but that's been training, 5 years or something.
Yeah, you're not going to put an independent guy up against, a high school wrestling champ, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, and that, sometimes on some cards it just happens on accident, and that happens. Or you warn somebody and you're like, hey, man, like, I know you really want to fight, but all I got is this guy, and he's a stud, I'm pretty much telling you that he's going to whoop you if you accept this fight,
And they take it anyway, though, a lot of times.
Sometimes they want to take it, and then a lot of times I'll tell them, like, look, man, I'll just get you somebody else next time. I don't want that. So.
Well, you've got more than 12 fights coming up Saturday, 8 o'clock, Turfway Park.
It's Tuesday, so just like any other show, there'll be there people pulling out, and I'm hurt, or
But what I like is you put it right there on that max. For people that don't know, if you go over 18 fights, you have to have 2 referees, you got to have 2 doctors. You stay right at that line just in case they all work out, or if you lose some, you're still going to have a pretty good card.
Yeah, I've done that before where I'm like, oh, I'll just do 22 fights because I know some will back out, and I had one back out, and I was like, oh my God, now my bosses are gonna get mad because I'm gonna have too many fights, and plus I don't want, I think 16 fights at the most, if they're good fights and title fights and a couple, more than one pro fight on there, because that even if they went too long, they went all the rounds, it's not going to be too late of a night. I don't want to drag out a show and make it extra late. And fighters too, a lot of these fighters, they don't want to fight at 12, at midnight. And a lot of these guys are pros. They don't, for around here, they don't want to warm up at 11:30, at night and finally fight at midnight. So a lot of times I just thinking about them, get their feedback and stuff. And I know some pros, they wish that they could fight, on the beginning of a card. They're like, man, I wish we could just get ours over with,
Oh, absolutely. Especially when you've got a fighters meeting that starts at like 5 p.m. And then you've got
that's the thing.
hours.
These fighters have to be there, at 6, and, which is fun because they got 2 hours to get all their stuff they need. But still, that means they've been there at 6 o'clock. And if they don't fight, 11:30, that's a long time, So I try not to do that. So I try to book 18 fights, 19 fights, and usually end up somehow losing 5 fights, that could happen. So
that could happen before this interview is over.
Yeah, you just don't know. I always dread looking at my phone when I wake up in the morning because somehow people always think it's better to tell me between 3 in the morning and 6 in the morning.
Hey, some people keep those hours.
Yeah, those are most of the times.
I remember when somebody in this conversation was delivering papers and was waking up super early.
Oh yeah. That was the wife wanted to get married and have that nice little dress, so we had to go do some extra money for Vegas.
Looking at the card, man, a lot of familiar names that fans of Turf Wars have come to see. Main event, heavyweights Jim Davis versus Ron Field. These are two guys, old school guys, that this probably is not coming out of the first round, but it will be exciting for everybody.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Big boys throwing. Tony Parker and Steve Bell, I'm kind of excited for that. I like both their fighting style. And they're pretty, they're both really tough dudes, so.
Who surprised me
Who?
earlier this year with the crowd that he brought when he fought Dom Steele was Keith Cunningham.
Yeah. Yeah, that
Who
guy. Who would have known, man? And we got him on there. Yeah, he's a pretty good fighter, too. I like him. And he brings a big crowd.
That's the part I love about Turf Wars and several other promotions, but specifically Turf Wars is there's fans that come to every show no matter who's fighting.
Yeah, even before I worked with Turf Wars, they were one of my favorite promotions. I would make the trip up there just to watch fights. Like, I didn't really, I knew people fighting on the card, but I didn't have no one specific I was there to root for. I just like to come up and watch, and that's how I kind of met Rod the first couple times, is I just told him that I liked his show, and he's like, why don't you ever get your fighters on there? And I was like, I'm thinking about it.
I remember that. I remember last summer during the outdoor show you were there, and you were aggravating the shit out of him. Just picking at him. Yeah, because he's, that's the kind of guy Rod is. You got to mess with him. But, like I said, I like the show, and the first time I've ever been to their show, I was like, man, this place is packed. Like, I like this. The atmosphere, the crowd's loud and wild, and I just like it. It's my style. It's going to be inside, though, Saturday night, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking so. The weather looks bad. You know, this Kentucky weather has messed us up.
But that outside show, man, for those who've never been, it's amazing.
It was awesome. And we wanted more this summer, but, pretty much the weekend was nasty.
Just rained.
It rained, every weekend it would rain.
Just said, piss on you, Gomez. It's going to rain.
It did. It really did. It knew I didn't want to be outside.
Not only do we have this event coming up, but the week before Thanksgiving, you guys, that's the last show of the year, right?
That's the last show. And then we'll be back, I think, in January.
Man, this year it's kicked things off in January. Well, what's the highlight been for you? Because I know fight night, you like to sit back and kind of watch your handiwork, and some of your guys have fought on the card, Jesse Ray, some other guys have won belts, and it's
I like to hang out with Juan and just watch the fights.
He's not coming Saturday.
Well, he's a loser.
I know. There'll be no Hooters for him afterwards.
Yep, I heard that. It's me and Gary.
That's right.
I leave for St. Simon Island the next day. Got to go see the mother-in-law.
Where's St. Simon Island?
Georgia. Or Georgia, you could go.
Was Jackie got a fall break or something?
Yeah, she's on fall break, so we're packing up.
It's like the first week of fall. What's up with the school system there? That's crazy.
I don't know, but she's happy.
I'd say so.
So
this year's been a big year, man. You guys have done Louisville. You've done inside, outside there at Turfway. Are there any surprises that you can fill us in on, or that are in the works for 2015?
I have so many people asking me to tell them to bring the show to Lexington, and I don't know, maybe come out to Lexington, see what we could do out there, see what kind of crowd we could bring in and some fans. I still got quite a bit of Lexington people that would like to see us fight, have a card out there because they're not too happy with any local stuff they have out there. So might have to do it, I already checked a couple spots out at the horse park, kind of like that room Absolute rented out to have fights, and they try to lie and tell everyone it was at the arena, and it was really just in one of the halls there. So
at the horse park?
Yeah.
The Alltech Arena? That's a big spot.
It is. I like they got a nice little venue you can rent out there in one of the halls, so I think it could seat like 2,500 people or something. I don't know. I wouldn't mind.
Right, that's Scott County.
I wouldn't mind going out to Lexington, something close out here.
I know nothing's close. I live in I'm not too far away from you in Mount Sterling, and I got to drive everywhere. Juan actually just lives like 20 minutes from Turfway, so he's in good shape. Me,
I know.
I'm an hour and a half. I'm an hour and a half pretty much from any event that I go to.
Yeah. You're in the boondocks, though. There's nothing. Nothing out your way.
There's a couple MMA shows here.
Where?
In Mount Sterling.
Oh, I've been to one.
Yeah,
Florida.
Two. Yeah, didn't work out so well.
They tore the whole thing. Your buddy Billy's gonna be back, I heard.
I've not heard anything out of them. I'm starting to get worried for him.
I heard he's gonna have his own promotion. He's gonna take over.
Man, wouldn't that be something?
He's gonna hire Hard Rock to matchmake for him too.
Hey, what? Do you feel threatened by Hard Rock? What if he comes to try to take your job?
Hard Rock? Oh, no, I love Hard Rock. Hard Rock is my buddy, man.
Would you say he's your
buddy?
mentor?
He is my mentor. Hard Rock, I always liked what he did and respected, his matchmaking and stuff. He's, the majority of my guys all fight for Hard Rock, so that says a lot. I only like them fighting on good shows. So,
do you think he should bring a card back to Lawrenceburg? Because that's where I remember you guys used to sell a ton of there.
Yeah, we'll see. If he would have came to Lexington, I would sell a ton. If my guys fight in Lexington, I could guarantee 50 tickets, easy. It's that's nothing, So I told Hard Rock that now that he's matchmaking for the Brawl, that I'd put my guys on there, but Tommy Ray would have to call me up in the cage and give me an apology.
Oh, I thought you were going to say an award.
No, and Hard Rock didn't want to. He don't want to do that. So, I would have put like 6 guys on. We would have sold it.
Wait, is that real? Was that a real stipulation?
Yeah, you could ask Hard Rock.
I would, but he will never come on the show.
Hard Rock?
No, he's been on in 2011. Right, no, he's in bed. He will
he's
not.
He's sitting right here on my couch.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've got Tony Parker and Steve Bell coming up. I'm excited for that fight. Who do you think wins that?
Oh yeah. I don't know. They're both so tough. I know Steve's coming off that loss and he's upset. So
he had a guy. He was supposed to fight Saturday, and the guy got food poisoning and he couldn't fight.
Yeah, no, I had to put bad juju on him. I don't like doing that too often to a fighter, but I was kind of upset that Steve was going to take that fight. It was kind of scary because I didn't want Parker to be out of the fight in case, even maybe Bell, punched the guy so hard breaks his hand, he's out, So I was like, well, I hope nothing happens to that guy, that opponent. And then, boom, my magic worked.
like reverse psychology. I hope everything goes great for him.
And people were like, were you out there? Did you go to dinner with that guy and poison him? I'm like, no, what are you talking about? I didn't even know none of this was going on. I had no clue. But,
Gomez, it's always a pleasure. We're going to talk with Tony next. I'll see you Saturday. Right, prepare. You're going to stay up. We'll drink Monsters, party down until you have to leave for vacation.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it hard. Get there early.
You can find him on Facebook at Georgetown MMA and on Twitter at turf_wars_MMA. Adam Gomez. See you Saturday, my man.
All right. See you guys. Have a good night.
Adam Gomez. He talks a lot, but I love him. Truly one of the better matchmakers in the state. If anybody you ask ever dealt with him. Good, fair fights. Matched well. It's 18 on the card right now. If it holds up, it's going to be a long night in Florence, but I don't mind that. I don't mind being there with the crew. That's how things happen. I got to say that when scheduling the show, obviously I had like 36 different fighters to choose from who I wanted to be on the show. There's really one fight that I really think is fight of the night. No disrespect to any other fighters. We'll go run through the card. Scott Spicer versus Andre Rodriguez. Nick Brumback versus Noel Rodriguez. Tyler Stover's on the card. Brandon Kaiser versus Joe Lazzarato should be a good one. Chris Myers versus Nicholas Cox. Francisco versus Foley should be tough. But the one fight that kind of stuck out, I think will bring a good crowd. I think the crowd will enjoy it. I think it will just be just a damn good fight. Is Tony Parker and Steve Bell. So that's who I picked to talk to tonight. Up first, Tony Parker. Tony, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, big man?
Let's get this on the air. I want to know if you will wear those yellow Speedos to the cage and fight in, Dennis Hallman style.
There's a rumor and there is a bet. The bet is not high enough for me to wear the Speedos to the cage, but if the money's right, I'll make it work.
Man, I got to tell you, that was some of the funniest shit I saw all week. I was like, he is really enjoying himself.
Yeah, I busted my ass, because I knew that I was fighting the week I got back, so for about 6 weeks before, and then I was training even while I was down there. But yeah, there's something going to happen with those Speedo pitchers that somebody tried to make fun of me, but they're getting a calendar coming their way with 12 Speedo pitchers, so they're not going to enjoy that.
I thought maybe you'd given up your day job, put MMA behind, and you were just going to be a lifeguard in Cancun.
That's not a bad idea, but the rumor is, and everybody's telling me that I have a face for radio, so I don't know if that would work.
Well, I appreciate you coming on the show. I know it's fight week. Steve Bell, man, this fight, I don't know why, man. I just think both of you guys are super tough. I've seen both of you guys a ton of times. What do you like about this fight? What do you like about the matchup with Bell?
I like the fact that he's a big guy. It's actually hometown for him too, and for me, so he's going to bring a big crowd. And I'm kind of pumped to be coming back fighting local again. So the hype's going to be there. Real strong guy, real athletic, man. He likes to throw bombs. And I don't know what it is, but the last 4 or 5 fights, I've been liking to throw bombs too, along with, being a Division I wrestler. I always have that in my back pocket to take it to the ground. I don't know. There's just so much about it that it can go either way.
Yeah, your last few fights, you've shown the submission skills, man. So can we expect maybe a little more stand-up, or is that what you're wanting?
Yeah, I'm trying to stand up. I'm going to start at standing, but what's frustrating me about my last fight, my last 3 out of 4, I dropped the guys with my left hand. I mean, just dropped them. But for some reason, I just can't finish it with the stand-up. So I've been working hard and hard with my coaches, Scott O'Brien and all my guys down there, Lou, and everybody from the gym, just stand up and not relying on going down and getting caught in some stupid submission, my losses. Finish the fight from the feet and then not go down, stand up. So, but if I ever do get hurt, the opportunity is always able to go to the ground.
How in the world is this the first time you fought at Turf Wars? Because I've seen you there a ton of times, but this is actually the first time you're going to fight there. No, yeah.
No, I fought there a couple of times.
Did you really? I'm looking. I don't see any Turf Wars.
Yeah, it's funny because the kid that I'm fighting, Steve Bell, he's out of 4 seasons, and my second pro fight was against a guy from 4 seasons at Turfway. I've had a few. I'm thinking 3 or 4 off the top of my head.
I see you fought at Hard Rock at Turfway. Probably fought Absolute at Turfway, but I don't see you fighting at Turf Wars.
Yeah, no, it was I thought look at Neil Kraft. I think that was a Turfway one.
No, Absolute Action.
Damn, maybe it is the first Turf Wars.
Your 19th pro fight is your Turf Wars debut, right there in your backyard. Even though you fought there.
Yeah, I'll take that.
I love that venue, man. For a fighter, I mean, I find it cool just the way it's set up, the grandstand kind of, and you're kind of limited on the floor space, but everybody's so tight. As a fighter, do you enjoy that intimate atmosphere?
I do. There's something about that Turf War venue that I fought in all over. I fought in totally different states. I went south, north, east, west to fight with all the fights I've had, and it just seems like Turf Wars puts on a real good show. And there's just so much talent around here. It's amazing. Like, a lot of people don't think about it, but Cincinnati is just a hotbed, I believe, for MMA fights, with Lexington and Columbus not far behind. It's like a melting pot around here. So I just think that it's a great atmosphere. And the way they put it on, I've been in some locker rooms where you got to share it with like 15 guys, one locker room.
That's gross.
Yeah.
Can't be wearing Speedos with 14 other guys.
Luckily, I'm towards the end of every fight, so I just hurry up and take a pillow and fall asleep, so I don't know I do all night.
I mean, you're one of the guys that's still around, that's been here like since the beginning, right? Since the big boom in local MMA, going back to 2010. Then we saw 2011. There was 70-some shows, in the area. What's the biggest difference now than back then? Because I feel like we went through like a huge growth stage and then went way low, and now we're starting to kind of even back out?
Yeah, I've kind of noticed that too, and I've mentioned that to a couple of people, and I can't tell you why, because there's not a lot of fighting going around. I think that people got overwhelmed at first, kind of got used to it, and then they're coming back to it, or there's a new breed, it seems like. Because what I'm seeing through the gyms is that you're seeing a lot of old faces, and there's that point where people were dwindling away, and now you're seeing new faces coming in, and the old fighters are becoming coaches is what I'm noticing a lot.
Is that something that you know, I'm not trying to retire you or anything, but do you see yourself sticking around for a while coaching after you hang up the gloves?
Oh yeah. This sport saved me a lot, man. I get in a lot of trouble if it wasn't for this sport. I had too much free time, so I definitely owe this sport a lot.
Now, your sons, are they wrestlers yet?
They are. They're actually going in 3rd and 1st grade. And there's some badasses, man. They're evil little kids. My oldest,
Where'd they get that
Austin,
from?
What's that?
I said, where'd they get that from?
Probably the milkman.
It's amazing because where I'm at, we don't have, we just got wrestling, you know, and we're not that far away, you know, but wrestling is a new thing for Kentucky. But Ohio's been such a huge place for it for a while. You know, coming up, did you see yourself as a fighter post wrestling, or how did it just fall into place?
No, what it was is I'd wrestled in high school, placed a couple of times, and then went off to college for wrestling. And the college thing just didn't work out, so I had actually blown all the way up to 285. And some buddies had wanted me to come in there because they knew that I had a Division I wrestling background, so they wanted me to come in and help them with wrestling. So I got in there, and I feel that 85% of MMA is wrestling these days. It controls the whole fight. If you're a boxer, you use it to keep it standing. If you're a jiu-jitsu guy, you use it to take them down. And you can always dictate to your wrestling. So it was kind of like second nature, and it's a one-on-one deal where sports like basketball and football, it's a team. Where wrestling, nobody's so sorry for you if you lose. You know, it's you versus the guy. So it kind of went hand in hand. And I was helping some guys out for a long time. They was like, you should do it. And for about 3 years, hell no, I'm not getting hit in the face because I never got my jaw hit. In street fights, I would always take the guys down and beat them up. So I was like, I don't know about my jaw, man. And they had some fights up in Metropolis up here in Cincinnati. And I didn't get touched in my mouth until my 4th fight, but I'd already fell in love with the sport by then.
Was it still a shock to get punched?
Yeah. I got hit and was okay, so I was like, okay, this ain't as bad as I thought.
Now, you're a guy that, you know, you've got to kind of dig back. You've not been to a decision since what, 2010?
Yeah.
You know, it's always, you guys, your fights have always been super exciting, you know, whether win or lose. Do you see this possibly going to a decision?
No, I don't. I've seen the guy's record. I know he likes to grind out a lot of fights. And I don't like bashing people because I believe everybody has a shot at this sport. And he's going to have a lot of rage because I've beaten 3 guys from his gym down there at Fort. So he's already got that chip on his shoulder. And he's coming off a big loss. My cousin, Keith Cunningham, has just finished him with a knockout. So he's got this rage that he's going to get back in there. I just see too many holes in his game, and working with Keith, which has, you know, the fight was only 40 seconds, but, you know, I have a little bit of that going on, and then some of the videos, I just don't see it going past the second round. But if it does, I'm prepared for it. Like I said, I went 3.5 hours tonight, so I'm going to have the cardio. I just think that I would be able to catch him early, but everybody has a shot. So.
Wow. What's amazing is, you know, the more you fight, the more often you see, you know, the same people or the people from the same gym. Do you feel like you got a good feel for what they do at Four Seasons, you know, having that history with those guys?
Yeah, I mean it's a great gym down there. I mean, yeah, okay, I'm 3-0, but that's a tough gym down there in Lexington. They've sent some people to the UFC, and there's some grinders down there. I've seen these guys, and Aaron at the gym speaks very highly of their coach. I think his name's O'Donnell, Mike O'Donnell. So they have an opportunity. They're no just backyard gym.
I feel like, and Juan taking over this, we need to start a Vision versus Four Seasons rivalry. I feel that we could go pro wrestling with this.
Hey, I got the speedo to work it.
We'll get you some of those long boots, go up to your knees.
Yeah. Well,
maybe
and then when we was on vacation, I got my boys as Rey Mysterio mask, so I'm set for that kind of atmosphere.
Oh, shit. That's what I'm talking about. I didn't know Keith Cunningham was your cousin. I was just talking about him, not the Steve Bell fight, but when he fought Dom.
Yeah.
Like, he had a huge following there, and I was like, I knew I thought he was from Indiana, but I just didn't know were they Tony Parker fans in disguise, or he seems like a real dude.
Yeah, no, he's my second cousin. So, but we went to high school together, and with him fighting on his card, it's kind of funny because when you said Vision versus Four Seasons, I say we do Fairfield versus the Tri-State because there's 7 guys on there from Fairfield.
Oh my God!
That I went to school with on this fight card. So it's going to be rocking. Every hillbilly in Fairfield is going to be at these fights.
It could be like that movie Friday Night Lights, where they just shut down the town for the football games. They just shut down the town for the fights.
Yeah, and I think there's a pig running around here. We bring that thing too. We got MMA fights and a muddy pig contest. So that sounds like a ticket filler right there.
Well, man, I appreciate you taking the time out to do this. It's always great to see you out and about. Hell, last time I saw you, we were in Cleveland.
Yeah,
that's nowhere close to where we originate.
Yeah, I know, and it was a bad night too. But it was good to see. It was good to see you guys out there. It was a good show. It just didn't turn out in our favor.
Tony bought he bought a ticket from a scalper for that show.
Yeah, I thought I was getting gypped at first because they don't trust these guys, and the guy had a crazy eye, so I didn't trust him at first. But I told him he had to walk up with me and get it scanned first, and hell, they had like $80 seats, and we got them for $40 apiece, so I took it.
Oh, crazy-eyed Jimmy sold him the tickets. Well, the fight goes down this Saturday night, Turfway Park. Everything kicks off at 8 o'clock. Tony, before I let you go, man, any shout-outs, any thank yous, anything you want to throw out there?
I would. Hey, I just want to tell everybody at Vision, thanks for everything they did. They've been busting my ass. I'll go in there and have great nights, and I have bad nights. But the next day, they're still in there, and there's guys in the Bellator and there's guys in XFO that come in there and help me out no matter what. We've been in there 11 o'clock at night. So I just want to thank everybody at Vision. And I got to give a shout-out because she's always mad at me all the time, is my girlfriend Amanda, because I didn't tell her the last time that they gave me the mic that I appreciate everything she does. She cooks me those nasty-ass foods and puts everything in the blender for me. And I didn't tell her thank you, so I had to tell her thank you for everything she does. And my friends and family just for supporting me, my kids. It's tough having 2 kids and working a job and then fighting and training. So thank my kids and my family and everybody for helping out.
Well, man, smooth sailing for the rest of the week. Hope everything works out good. We will see you Saturday night at Turfway.
All right, sounds good. Take care, brother.
There you guys go. Tony Parker. Big fight this Saturday night against our next guest. And it's hard for me, and Juan maybe can chime in later, but it's hard for me to try to get emotionally invested in fights because you've got guys that you like, just in general as friends or what have you, and if you kind of get nervous when they fight, and hell, when they got to fight each other, it's like just hope they both come out safe. You don't really want to pick a winner. And that's how I feel about this fight because I've been watching Steve Bell fight since the beginning of his career. That's right, going back to like 2011. I've seen the majority of his fights. He's back on the show with us right now. The Sleeper, Steve Bell. What's up, man?
Hey, how you doing? What's going on the radio waves?
I got to ask first, how disappointed were you to get all the way to Charleston, West Virginia on Saturday, weigh in on Friday, get ready for a fight, and then it gets canceled last minute?
Well, I wasn't too happy. But, I wasn't very disappointed. It's happened a few times to me before, so it's not the first time. Probably won't be the last. The
big question, did you still get paid?
I got my show money, so I got to pay some bills. I'm always happy to pay some bills.
Absolutely. Another chance
to be able to pay bills.
Oh, absolutely. Another chance to pay the bills Saturday night against Tony Parker, going back up to Turf Wars. I didn't know this. He just told us Keith Cunningham is his cousin.
Oh, yeah?
So, he says he watched that fight. He doesn't think he got a good read off of you just because it didn't last very long. Well, how have you changed since that fight?
Well, I learned the number one rule of fighting, period, and that's keep your hands up. I've evolved because now I've been stopped, so I don't have to keep that stigma on me. You know what I'm saying? I guess I don't have to worry about that too much.
Your boxing, especially since you turned pro, has just been amazing. You've looked great in the stand-up game. Do you feel like when you have that in your back pocket that it's easier for guys to maybe leave some room to take a big shot like that when you're trying to keep it on the feet?
Well, not really, but that time he caught me off guard. Hey, it was more of a situation where you could gamble. Because any other time you've seen someone throw that punch at me, has it affected me in any way? Even if it's landed?
No, and I guess it's all about where it lands, when it lands, all that stuff. It's that the whole knockout button and what knocks some people out and what doesn't just amazes me.
Yeah, that punch landed kind of behind my ear. I don't know how that happened, but hey, that punch kind of landed behind my ear. And I was like, well, I was wondering if it was because normally I can take a pretty good punch to my face. I've been using it as a shield for quite some time.
I feel like you turned things around earlier this year at Bluegrass Brawl. You looked phenomenal in your win there. Only got 40 seconds against Cunningham, and that happens to the best of everybody. But
yeah,
what do you want people to see in this fight? Because co-main event, be a lot of eyes on you. Tony, obviously, it's in his backyard. What is it that you want to impress upon people about Steve Bell that may have not had a chance to see so far?
Well, every time you see me, I think you'll see something new and exciting. I think I have a new style of fighting now. So I'm always evolving. Like I said, I'm a ninja. If you ever see my Facebook and Instagram posts, I'm a ninja. So I'm working on becoming more and more like a ninja. So no matter where the fight goes, I want to be pretty versed in, and a lot. No matter where the fight may take us.
When did you start the whole Undertaker rolling your eyes back like that? Because that freaks some people out. I
don't know. It's kind of been always part of I used to do it when I was little and not really think much of it. And then I was like, well, I can turn this can be part of my character. So,
do you feel like you have a character?
Actually, there is pictures. There actually are. When I first started doing it, around the time, I think it was maybe 3 or 4 fights in, then I started popping up in pictures with the white eyes.
That's amazing.
I think that's when I introduced it to the public.
Do you find, because we've known each other for a while now, you're one of most kind, humble guys in the business, bar none. But do you have a different character when the fights start? Because, I mean, I can see a change in you. I don't know if other people that don't know you notice that, but I can see kind of how you take it serious, just the way you move, your facial expressions, that it's a different Steve Bell than before the fight.
Yeah, it is a different guy, but I have another one, a little more meaner one. I'd like to have him show up a few times. I think some of my meaner fights were in the very beginning. Those were real good fights. You know, definitely good watches. That's for sure. But I'd like to have my mean side show up, which a lot of people haven't really seen that so much. Not really mean, mad. And no one's caught that one so far. It's
Is there something that turns that on? Or
anger normally turns it on, but I haven't really been angry as of yet. I guess if I ever have some personal problems going on, it might be a bad time to fight Steve, huh?
Yeah, I would want to fight you, man. I wouldn't want to fight you in a good mood.
Right.
What's been going on in Four Seasons, man? You guys have been so busy here lately. It seems like 2014, every fight card I've been to, from Tennessee to Ohio, just everywhere, somebody from Four Seasons is there.
Well, I mean, everybody's got to get it in. The best teacher is actually fighting. So, and everybody's hungry, so everybody's trying to go get their little piece of the pie and take their shot at the upper ranks and see what other places have to offer.
I think I saw this. Maybe you can fill me in. I've not talked to him. Is Gino Perrin back?
He should be back within the next couple of weeks.
That's awesome. Awesome.
And that'll probably change the game some more. Everybody will learn and pick up something new. It's like relearning everything all over again.
Now, when people say after a fight they go back to the drawing board, have you ever? I mean, I don't feel like that's a true statement. I feel like people just build upon their strengths and try to, diminish their weakness. Do you feel that's a true statement?
I mean, it for some, it very well could. For me, not so much, because I fight every fight differently. You'll get a different person almost every time I step into the cage. So, I mean, like if you was able to look back, you remember all those fights. So if you look back and look at every one of those fights, I pretty much fought every one of them differently than I did the last time.
I remember Steve Bell that used to be more of a wrestler.
Right. I mean, there was a lot of wrestlers around that time. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of wrestlers because, I mean, I was doing a little jiu-jitsu and a little wrestling. I guess I needed them for those fights. And, I mean, I try to always grow. Have my skill always grow, continue to grow, and get better. And, yes, sometimes I forget about some of the old stuff. It would definitely come in handy.
Oh, well, man, we're excited about this fight. Saturday night at Turfway Park, the Sleeper versus Tony Parker. I don't know if you know this. He says he's 3-0 against guys from Four Seasons.
Oh, yeah? Who else has he fought? I know he's fought Kelly. He's fought Kelly Pillington. Who else has he fought from his Four Seasons?
I don't know. It was back in the day, so I don't know which one of these guys were from there or not.
Well, let's try to break that.
I told him, I said, we need to start like a pro wrestling kind of rivalry. But I don't know that either one of you guys, either one of the teams would buy into that.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I've never heard any smack talk come from either camp.
Well, I mean, I don't really say anything. I don't say anything to anybody. I haven't heard anybody say anything to me until, like, at least maybe after the fight. But I think that's just emotions, going, so they go with that. Whether, win or lose, I just kind of, try to stay the same either way it goes. Because with me growing up playing baseball, whatever the ref calls is, what I got to go with, whether I agree with it or not. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Well, man, thank you so much for coming back on the show. Bummed you didn't get a fight in West Virginia, but excited I get to see you fight Saturday night at Turfway Park. Before I let you go, man, you know how we do it. Any shout-outs, any thank yous, anything you want to throw out there?
Yeah, well, I want to thank, Joe Reed and Coach O'Donnell, O'Dizzo. Shout-outs to Monsters on the Move. Look at me, follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Sleeper80, I believe it is, Sleepy Time 80. And, of course, my mother and the man above. And thank you for having me on the show.
Steve, hope the rest of the week goes well for you. Excited for this fight. I think it's got Fight of the Night written all over it. We'll be there Saturday night. Until then, take care, my man.
You too.
There you guys go. Steve Bell, this Saturday night, Turfway Park. Him, Tony Parker, it's going down. Cody Garbrandt at the top of the hour. But first, Juan Valley is going to chime in here. I'll let him unmute himself because I don't want any. He's using a new microphone. I'm using a new microphone. I'm trying to be a little more professional in this setup.
Professional is the key word, yes. Although I don't think that's going to happen with you and I.
You don't think we can be professionals?
No. I mean, we'll act like it. We'll start off, spectacular. However, as the hours progress, it'll go downhill quickly.
It normally does. And I don't know.
But that's how we roll. And that's what our fans come to expect. And I don't want to deviate from that.
We've got a full second hour, 4 guests. Had 3 the first hour, 4 the second hour. But as we get a little bit of time, not much. 2 big events this weekend. I can't think of really any 2 bigger that I'd rather be at. NAAFS, huge card this weekend. You excited about making your way back to NAAFS show?
I am. It's going to be my first time and in over a year and a few months. Last June was the last time I was up there. And it's been a while. I told Nicole that I'm for sure coming up to this event, even though Turf Wars is no more than 20 minutes from my house.
I know.
I am going way out of my way to go to Cleveland, Ohio, to venture into Rock and Rumble 8 this weekend, which I'm super excited for.
That's in Canton.
Oh, that's right. I mean, Canton, Cleveland, they're pretty much the same thing to me.
Let's see.
But it's about a 4-hour venture from my house up there. But, I mean, the card, honestly, hands down, is stacked from top to bottom. And I'm really excited to be there. And I wouldn't want to miss this event. I don't know, for the world. It's got Frank Carabello, Cody Stevens, Cody Garbrandt, all of which are going to be guests now, including
Charlie
Stanford. Yeah, so I mean, it's just a stacked card that if you're anywhere in the vicinity of Canton this weekend, make sure you get to that event because you do not want to miss it.
What are the odds you've got a guy that trains in Sacramento, California, Team Alpha Male, and a guy that's coming off a training camp, or at least spent some time at American Top Team, meet not even in the middle, just meet in Canton, Ohio for a big fight? That's crazy.
Oh, it is. It's insane. And unfortunately, I don't think the promotion is really hyping the event up as much as they should, because you're right. How many times 2 of the top gyms in the world, fighters are coming to Canton, Ohio to fight? I mean, seriously. How many times does that happen?
Rarely. Rarely,
exactly.
Maybe this is the first time.
It might be. And on top of that, I don't know exactly how they're pulling it off. I'm sure Cody, who trains out there at Team Alpha Male, had some strings in it. But supposedly there's some UFC stars coming to the event as well.
Well, ask Cody who's going to corner him.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah,
Honestly, I didn't think Uriah Faber would come all the way up to Canton, Ohio to corner him, to be honest with you. But I guess that makes sense because he's going to be there.
I'm getting text messages right now. People are trying to put peer pressure on me to go to Denver, Colorado
For
next
what?
Friday night. I'm not. I can't
RFA?
really. RFA. No, I'm sorry. It's in November, not Friday. In November, but I can't really say why just yet. I think tomorrow we'll be able to announce it. But I can't. I don't know that I would want to go to Denver. I just told Ryan Bevins if I've not seen. He says I hear you're coming to Denver. I've not seen any plane tickets yet.
Dude, Denver is amazing. I would love to get, especially if you get a free trip out of it.
Listen, if I got a free trip, we wouldn't even be talking. I'd be like, hey, I'm going to Denver. You know, come on, break off some of that extra TV money. Send me to Denver. I'll help put logos on.
Until a week out, you say, I'm not going to go. I'm going to stay home instead. Let's just be honest here.
When have I done that?
Last 2 weeks ago. This past weekend.
This past weekend. Oh yeah, but they listen.
Excuses. Let's go. I'm ready.
I didn't want to go and not do any live results or not. I didn't want to drive to Charleston, West Virginia, which ended up for 9 fights. The event lasted like no time. Although it would have been fun to hang out with some of the people up there, but.
Right, and not to mention you could have, got the autograph and shook Kimbo Slice's hand. I mean, come on, who doesn't want to do that?
Did you see how excited Jimbo was for that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, he got his picture and said they talked, and by all accounts, he's a good guy.
Hey, maybe Jimbo talked him into coming on his podcast.
Jimbo hasn't done a podcast since he sat right next to me in this very office to do his last one.
Oh, that was what, like months ago?
Back in the summer.
That's slasher.
But
please, no excuse. No excuse. But no. So, are you excited to be venturing to Turf Wars this weekend?
Man, I always have a good time in Turf Wars. This is my second, third, fourth Turf Wars event. I've only missed one this year. I missed the one in June. But I went somewhere. I was at Hard Rock or something that night. Yeah, I was at Hard Rock. No, I was at Indestructible Fight Club.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
At all.
I was out in Henderson, Kentucky, or Owensboro.
All right, so check this out. Before we get into our next guest in a few minutes here. So if you go to BluegrassMMA.com, you can get the full scoop on it. But this past weekend at the Hook and Shoot event in Evansville, Indiana, for the first time ever, at least here in the Midwest, the promotion is claiming ever worldwide. We don't know if that's true or not, but I'll take their word for it. There was a hair versus hair matchup. Yes, you heard me right, a hair versus hair. Normally you'd be thinking, oh, WWE-style wrestling. Yeah, that's nothing new, blah, blah, blah. No, this was an MMA match. The two fighters agreed that the loser would shave their head and beard. Can you believe that, Gary?
They've got to be really confident in their skills to do that because there's no way that I would put this precious beard. Side note, I'm judging a beard competition in like 2 weeks.
Are you? I assume the one that Furby's hosting?
He's going to be a judge with me.
Nice. That's cool. I'm glad you have like world-renowned credentials to judge a beard judging contest.
I mean, yeah, I do.
Oh, really? I want to see some of these credentials you have.
I'll fax them to you.
Fax them?
All right.
What? Why don't you just put them in the mail and send them to me?
It's the top of the hour. We're coming back with Cody Garbrandt. Do not go anywhere.
Intimidation Clothing has proven to be the biggest supporter of local MMA in the industry, sponsoring the top regional events across the globe. While other brands come and go, Intimidation is a brand that represents stability, with over 110 different styles of high-quality t-shirts, hats, hoodies, training gear, and more. Browse our premium quality merchandise at IntimidationClothing.com and use Radio 10 to save 10% off your order. When you think local MMA, think Intimidation Clothing. Nobody supports local MMA like Intimidation. Nobody.
Tune in to Louisville's #1 combat sports show, The Knockout Hour, every Sunday morning from 9 a.m. until 10, right here on 1450 WXVW. Host Kelly Patrick and Gary Thomas bring you the top stories from the world of boxing and mixed martial arts. The Knockout Hour is brought to you by BluegrassMMA.com and the Kentuckiana Agency of Transamerica, the home of tax-free retirement.
You are listening to the ProMMANow.com radio network.
You're listening to the Ohio Valley's #1 source for MMA. This is Bluegrass MMA Live. Now, once again, your hosts, Juan Valley and Gary Thomas.
Hour number 2 as we roll along tonight. Don't forget, head over to audible.com, pick up a free audiobook and 30 free day trial. I suggest The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. That's one that I've listened to once and I've started it again. It's for those creative minds. Or just anything in your job, and if you're in a rut, something like that, it'll help you out. Also, if you're maybe more comedy, Burt Kreischer's Life of the Party, which is read by Burt Kreischer, is excellent. So if you enjoy books but you don't want to read, you just want to listen to them, head over to audible.com or audibletrial.com/ProMMA now. Pick you up a free book and 30 free days of service and enjoy. We're going to focus our attention now on Saturday's big event up in Canton, Ohio, the mega super main event. Probably one of the biggest main events that the area, hell, has probably ever seen on a local card. The NAAFS has been doing it big. It's none other than Charlie Stanford taking on our next guest, Cody Garbrandt. Cody, what's up, man?
What's going on, man? Thanks for having me.
Man, thanks for taking the time out. I know it's fight week. I know you're coming off a big, open workout last night back at home?
Yeah, just did a little open workout for, my hometown to come in and be in the gym and get around that environment. It's fight week, so everyone's routed up here and ready to go.
What's amazing is that a guy 4-0, still young in his career, and I'm sure it was packed too, right? Like, you can garner that much attention so early. It's amazing.
Yeah, man, I got a local, support, since wrestling here, we're in a tight-knit community and just had supporters ever since then and followed me into my boxing era and now into my MMA era.
What's that like, having that support system? Because I imagine at fight night it's indescribable.
And it's great, it's great to know, it's good to have that support system, through your training and, that people, look up to you and believe in you and like you believe in yourself. So it's, you have that support and people pushing you from behind, when it's just great to have that support system when have that so many support system through your hometown and it's so strong, and then reaching out to you during your fight camp, getting excited, getting you pumped up, telling you I can't wait for this fight, that really pumps me up to go out there and put on a performance, that I'm so well liked and supported by them that they take their whole families out and watch you beat someone up.
Walk me through how it was that you went out to Team Alpha Male. What set that up opportunity and sparked the training and your time out there?
Yeah, it's kind of, I've always had my actually I got a funny story about this. Is a couple years ago I was an amateur. Me and Ryan Faber, we exchanged tweets, and he said he's going to check me out on YouTube, and if I knew my buddy Lance Palmer's on the team. Lance Palmer, he's on the team at Alpha at the time, and so again, we grew up wrestling and stuff like that, and said, I'm going to check you out, and ended up never making it out there. I was going to come out, and finally made it out years later. And I just hit it up to wanted to check out something new. I knew that if I wanted to go that next level, I had to. They were a hotbed. They were just win the fights. They were undefeated in 2014. They went in the UFC like 14 or 15-0. It's like, they must be doing something right. So my eyes were set on going out there. Went out there and just went out there for a week to check it out, and I fell in love with it. Got basically it was kind of like a open tryout kind of. Get out there and just show your skills with some of the top dogs in the UFC and in the world. So to see how they train and how they live, man, I got it that week, that couple of days that I was there that week, I just I got to be here and sat down and talked with Faber for a little bit and was out a week later and finished up my fight camp out there. Did like 4 weeks or whatever it was and had my second fight. And then ever since then been going out there and doing training camps for my last 2 fights, the Dom Mazzotto fight and then the James Porter. And then after the James Porter fight, a month after that, I moved out there permanently, got an apartment, and just been on the grind since.
Was it hard for you to pick up a move out there? I mean, with all the support you have at home, I'm sure they were behind you, but it's got to be tough to leave them behind.
Man, I got little siblings, and my family. I'm real close to my mom, and I'm a really close family man, and I miss them, and I think about them a lot, but they support me 100%. So with their backing and the support they give me, they know I'm out there training. I'm out there, I'm out there dreaming, chasing my dreams. So it wasn't that hard of a move as I thought it was going to be. I got situated and got right back into the grind of the daily routine of just grinding out practices out there, and I keep myself in the gym, so I'm so busy on the outside of everything else. It's not even to really think about it. I'll go home in between sessions, call my mom, talk to them, try to FaceTime them, keep in contact as much as I can with the time difference and everything. But it was actually an easier transition than I thought it was going to be as far as being out there, because my heart and passion is set on, becoming the best mixed martial artist that I can be, and I know that this is where I need to be. And so it's a pretty easy transition, to be honest, but I do miss them, but it helps with them being so supportive.
What's the biggest thing that you've picked up from being in a camp like Alpha Male that you feel like you probably couldn't have got at home?
And just being around so many like-minded individuals that are out there for the same dream. We're out there trying to chase the gold medal, the UFC champion. It's what we all dream of. It's what we all train for. It's all it's have so many motivated guys in there, 3 times a day just grinding with you and training and having their eyes set on being the best in the world. It's something that you don't get too many chances to do, and I noticed that when I went out there, everyone out here is training to be the best. We're lions out there, and it's we have to. That's how we train. That's how we live, and honestly, man, I got addicted to that. That's what I wanted to do, and I know that I needed to be out there. So I would say just being around so many positive, like-minded, talented individuals, human beings,
I gotta ask, man, when did you get your first tattoo, and what kept that going?
I was 13 when I got my first tattoo. I told my mom, when I won a state title, when we was younger, we're going to get a tattoo. When I win a state title. Ended up, getting second at junior high states, and then I talked her into getting it, and so got a tattoo, and ever since then just started getting inked up, the feet up.
I love it, man. I feel like that adds to your personality. I mean, do you feel it's like a embodiment of you and what you stand for, and kind of?
Yeah, definitely, man. I was always fascinated with artwork. My uncle Mike, he was a tattoo artist, and he had tattoos all over him. He had his drawings all over at my grandma's all the time. I always look at his drawings, and I just I was fascinated with artwork, and I was just really impressed with people, how they can put that in your body, and and a lot of all my tattoos have stories of me, and have backgrounds of me. I just don't have a tattoo just to get it, so it represents me, and gonna keep going. It's just hard, I'm gonna keep trying to bang out these fights, get in the UFC and keep going. So it's hard to take off time of training just to get tattooed. So that's kind of been slowing it down, but I'm okay with that.
Would you consider maybe like barbed wire just above your kneecap? That'd be badass.
No way, man. No barbed wire. No tribal, man. I look at that like, that shit went out in the 90s. So can't do no barbed wire.
Oh, all right then.
I'm from the country too, but I can't rock no barbed wire.
This is probably the biggest fight we've seen in the Ohio Valley region ever. You're coming in from your camp. Charlie just spent some time on American Top Team. It's rare that you get two guys like this, especially on an upswing in their career, meet outside, a big promotion. Not saying the NAAFS is not a big promotion, but outside the regional circuit, this is huge. I know every fight's a big fight, but where do you rank this amongst the fights that you've had so far?
I don't know. I mean, I look at every fight as the same task, same task at hand. Every fight's a step closer to, the ultimate goal is like getting in the UFC. So I've taken every fight that I've fought and seriously and trained hard and trained as it was my, my shot to get in. So I look at it the same, every fight, no fight's different. I train hard. I train hard to get better and, improve every fight, and I've shown that in my last outings.
I guess, since you've moved out to the West Coast and your training camp's been there, who's going to corner you for this fight?
I have my boxing coach, who's my uncle Robert. He's been with me since, day one. He's in my corner. He's a phenomenal striking coach. I have Lance Palmer and Ryan Faber in my corner.
Do you think that, I can just see the throngs of people, trying to get at Uriah and even Lance, and you as well. But do you think that causes any distraction, or is it just business as usual?
Yeah, no, man, it's business as usual, so, I don't have that out there, all the guys have that, the bigger name guys in the UFC, and I see it, they handle it well, so just like, I'm a professional and it's going to handle it well, handle business, stay focused. I've been focused all camp, since we got the fight. I haven't been deterred from anything, my mind's solely on getting in there and destructing Charlie Stanford on October 4th, so it's just staying focused and finishing the task.
It's the beginning of October. Everything works out right. How active do you want to be moving forward, or how close do you think you are from that call from the UFC?
I really don't know, man. I mean, I'm 4-0, 4 knockouts, and I'm about to make it 5. 5 knockouts. So, whoever, if it takes a few more fights, I'll fight whoever, line them up, I'll knock them down. But I'm just, in that meantime, I'm training. I'm not just, I'm in the gym, so I'm more time for me to develop my skills and become mentally stronger and all around stronger as a martial artist. That's fine with me. I'm in no rush, but when the time comes, I know it's right, and I'll be ready to be a household name in the UFC.
After the fight, will you get a chance to go back home, or are you going right back out to training camp?
Yeah, I'm actually going to stay a week after the fight, and Jessica I actually is fighting in Mexico, so I used to train at Strong Style with them as an amateur for a few fights, and she asked me to come up and help her out with her camp, so I'm going to stay back for a week with my family and then go up and help her in preparation for her UFC fight, and so I'll be back here for a week. And then go right back out and get back to the grind, man. It's fun. Training's fun out there. It's awesome, man.
You got to get back out to where it's warm before it, fall hits here and it's too cold.
Yeah, that's for sure. I'm a Cali boy, man. I've always been a Cali boy, even since I was born. I should have been out there. So it's perfect. It's everything works out and turns out to be so.
Well, man, thank you so much for taking the time out tonight. I know you've got a busy schedule with a huge fight coming up this Saturday night, NAAFS Rock and Rumble, number 8. Before I let you go, though, any shout-outs, any thank yous, anything you want to throw out there?
Yeah, I just like to give a shout-out to all my sponsors that have, sponsored me in the past, the present, and the future. We're ready to go to battle for however long it takes for me to knock Charlie Stanford out unconscious and take another step in the direction and chasing my dreams into the UFC. So I just want to thank everyone, all my fans, family, and friends that have stayed with me since day one, and I really appreciate it, and I'm really excited on October 4th to put on a show for everyone.
Well, man, we will be there. We wish you nothing but the best the rest of the week. Best of luck Saturday night. Hope everything goes well. Stay healthy. Until then, man, take care, and we'll talk to you again soon.
I appreciate it. See you guys then.
There you guys go. Cody, No Love Garbrandt. And I say huge. Sometimes people say things just to be saying, but it's a huge main event. It's a huge card. No doubt whatsoever that this is a huge event. And it's not just that fight. Several big fights on the card, including the fight that our next guest is in. It's going to be Frank Caraballo versus Cody Stevens, and I think we have Cody right now. Cody, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on? How are you?
Man, I appreciate you taking the time out to join us. I know it's fight week. You're no stranger to big fights, but does this event and this card for you have, for us, it just feels like this is a huge, super, event not to be missed. You're on the card. Do you feel the same way?
Oh, yeah, I'm stoked. I'm very excited to be back in NAAFS, and I'm excited to fight a good quality opponent like Frank Caraballo. I'm ready to put my skills on display and get that victory on Saturday.
Now, you've always been one of the most active guys in the business, but you've not fought since, what, April? How has things been since then? I know sometimes the rest is good, but sometimes fighters get a little antsy and a little impatient. How did you handle the time off?
Oh, it was good for me. I've been training at Strong Style full time since May. I've been fighting every Monday. Every Monday we go hard in our sparring. It's full go. I've competed in a couple grappling tournaments in the meantime, and I just been polishing up my skills, and I'm ready to go. I'm going to put the best Cody the Wolverine Stevens anybody's ever seen on display Saturday.
Like I said, you've been in huge fights throughout your career. Where does this fight with Frank rank up there, man? Because I know this is going to be one that a lot of people are going to take interest in.
Every time my next fight is always the biggest fight of my career. No matter if it's like I competed. A guy fought Shinya Aoki for ONE FC. I fought on big stages, and this is going to be a big stage fight. I take no matter where the show may be, if there's 1,000 people in the audience, if there's 10,000 people in the audience, I'm always going out there with the objective to dominate my opponent and come out with the victory. So, it's just another day at the office for me.
Talk to me about some of the people that are helping you get ready up there at Strong Style for this fight, because we know that's a place where killers live. That's one of the toughest gyms anywhere.
Yeah, I'm very pleased with all the coaches. I can't thank them enough. Marcus Marinelli, Pablo Castro, Joe Delguy, there's about 8, Armand Lakta, Vadim, Bobby, Tony, everybody pitches in around there. So it's everybody, all the coaches, along with my teammates. RJ Buck, me and him's been going back and forth. Kenny, Stipe's up there. Obviously, I don't spar against Stipe and Jessica, or a little bit with Jessica, but, being around somebody like Stipe Miocic is awesome. Darian Peterson, he's a tough kid. He's fighting on the card as well. John Hall, it's a good family atmosphere. And Tony Castillo, it's been a nice mix, a nice blend, as well as my strength and conditioning coach back home in Mansfield, Alan Antonelli. He's really helped me elevate my game. I feel I feel more prepared for this bout than any bout in my life, and I'm excited for Saturday.
One of the things that I just love to hear stories about is, like especially with you, you've been around really since the beginning of the boom of mixed martial arts, right? You're fighting back in the day when it really wasn't even cool yet. What's the biggest difference in preparing for a fight, this camp, than preparing for a fight back in 2008 when you went pro, or hell, even back in like 2006 when you're an amateur?
Yeah. It was just a kind of back then. It was like, if you're just tough and rugged, I only got to train on the weekends. I was working on a well field. I was shoveling and, chumming through a well field throughout the week. There's times where my training, after I'd work 12, 13 hours a day, I'd run from the job site back to the hotel wherever we were staying at. Hell, we spent a lot of time down in Kentucky, down in Prestonsburg and whatnot. And, then I'd get home on the weekend and just train. And there's a lot of sparring. It's really evolved, man. And, this fight in particular, I was swimming at least once a week. I was running like 5 to 10K once or twice a week. I was doing strength and conditioning twice a week. There's so many different type of things that back in the day I never even would have, I'm like, I just want to be, I'd go out there and be tough, you know what I mean? As long as I did a lot of sparring back in the day. I didn't really like drilling. All I want to do is go in there and fight and grapple hard and spar, and now you got, you start to learn as you get older, you got to, be crisp with your drilling, that's one of the things I wish I would have started earlier, is just drilling and repping, whether it be jiu-jitsu, wrestling, or striking, just a lot of drilling and slowing things down. Because when you slow things down, at times you really see some of the flaws you may be making and how to make adjustments. And, yeah, that's really the biggest thing I'd say.
As a guy who's, obviously been around a lot, what have you mastered the weight cut, or was that ever even an issue with you?
As far as 145, I got this thing pretty much on lock, this is going to be an excellent weight cut for myself. I was walking around, when I'm eating good, not eating junk, but when I'm eating good and eating what I want, like as far as portion sizes, I walk around like 165. I touch maybe 170 sometimes. But, I woke up good this morning. I was 154.4. I weighed out tonight at 149. Still ate 3 meals a day. It's knowing how to eat a clean diet 8 weeks out. 135 was a little tough. That last fight I made, that was a really tough cut. That was my most challenging cut today. And I was lean, but I did 22 pounds in 22 hours for that Jimmy Rivera fight. I didn't know. I knew I was like, because I've always said, I don't want to hope nobody takes it the wrong way. I always say, pussies and cowards don't make weight. Real men die in the sauna or whatnot trying to make weight. I only missed weight one time in my life. That was 7th grade in wrestling, and I told myself, and I was so ashamed of myself. I was like, I'll die before I ever miss weight again. Because it's just I feel like a lack of respect for your profession, for your opponent, and for the organization and the people that want to watch you fight. It's I just say it won't happen.
The memories of the 7th grade missed weight cut. That's powerful, man. That's powerful.
I thought about it. It always keeps me in check. So, whatever. It works though. It works for me.
Frank's a guy that's been around, much like you. Had a ton of fights. What do you know about him? And in camp, is it a situation where you study him? Do you let your coaches study him, or is it more about perfecting what Cody Stevens has to offer?
I'm more about perfecting what Cody Stevens has to offer. That's always kind of been my mentality and my game plan. obviously I watch for a little bit of tendencies, but, you know, as true mixed martial artists, you should always be constantly evolving, you know, trying to get better, you know, at every aspect of your game. Obviously, Frank has some strength, and, you know, I feel I could put him in some areas that's going to create a lot of problems for him, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to, like I've been saying, I'm just going to go out there and out-mix martial arts Frank Carabello on Saturday.
You're always a guy that stays busy, ton of fights, not looking past Saturday at all. But, you know, how busy do you want to stay the rest of the year, and what's the future hold for Cody Stevens?
You know, this is really like the first time in my life, besides when I was at Tiger, you know, when I was at Tiger, they kind of picked my, you know, not picked my fights, but kind of guided me in the direction they wanted me to. But, you know, it's up to Marcus Marinelli. You know, I mean, he's the coach. Whatever he tells me to do, I'm going to do. I'm not going to take any more random fights like I have throughout my career. You know, I always kind of went with the Bushido, you know, the spirit. You know, I mean, I always wanted to just, you know, whether you go out there and win, lose, or draw, if you go out there and fight your ass off, you know, that's, I always wanted to gain. But, you know, sometimes that can hinder your career because some promotions, they don't look at the quality of opponents you fought sometimes. They just look at the win-loss record, you know what I mean? And, like, I wish it was the other way around because, you know, I fought a lot, nothing but pretty much monsters throughout my career. And, you know, but I'm in a good place now. I'm going to let Marcus take care of that, and I'm going to take care of it inside the cage along with everybody else's help at Strong Style.
It's the old adage, fight smarter, not harder, something like that, right?
Yeah, correct. Just be a little wiser, you know. Try to get a little wiser at my older age.
You old bastard. Man, I appreciate you taking the time out. I know it's fight week. I know there's a lot on your plate. Huge event Saturday night. Before I let you go, though, man, I want to give you a chance to give any shout-outs, any thank yous, anything you want to throw out there to our listeners.
I just want to, you know, thank all my Wolver Maniacs that always stand behind me. You know, everybody at Strong Style, everybody, KO Prince, one of my sponsors, Instigator Fight Gear, Damage Control Mouth Guards, Advanced Night Care, you know, the Outlaw Barbell and Antonelli's, the Fitness Factory. You know, I just want to thank everybody. You know, I just want to thank all those mixed martial arts fans out there. You know what I mean? I just, you know, this is to me, it's the greatest sport in the world, and I think it's to a lot of the viewers out there, it's obviously their favorite sport. You know, most watched, and I'm just thankful to be a part of something like this and be able to do what I love to do every day. You know, rather than be training and competing, I adore the sport, and I'm thankful.
Well, man, we've been huge fans for a while. Great to talk with you. Appreciate the time as always. Best of luck in heading into your fight. Wish you nothing but the best. We'll be there Saturday night. Until then, man, take care, and hopefully we talk again soon.
Yes, sir. Thanks very much. I appreciate you guys having me on. You guys have a nice night.
There you guys go. Cody Stevens. This Saturday night. Big fight. Nothing but big fights on this card. You've got Brian Goldsby versus Castillo for the bantamweight title. The Stevens Caraballos for the featherweight title. I mean, it's just a huge fight card. I've not seen if it's going to be streamed or not. Juan, I want you to look into that. If it is, we'll tell people where they can watch it. Obviously, one of the biggest fights on the card and one of the biggest fights in our next guest's career goes down Saturday night. Huge opportunity to make some noise. Probably in the toughest fight to date for him. Our good friend and yours, Charles Stanford. Charles, what's up, man?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Man, thank you so much for taking the time out. I know it's fight week. I know you got a lot on your plate, but, man, this is a huge opportunity Saturday night. How did this come about? Who set this up for you? How did you get this opportunity?
Man, I'm not even for sure how it came about. You guys know I've been trying to get a fight since after I fought in April, and Coach Rob was like, you want to fight in NAAFS? And I was like, I don't care. And I was like, who? He was like, and I was like, let's do it, man. I don't care who I fight. I just want to fight. I don't really care who I fight ever. I just want to fight. And not fighting since April was getting hard. So I was like, let's do it, whatever, whoever. I don't really care.
Do you think, because I know you had fights scheduled, they'd fall off, like you couldn't buy a fight. You couldn't pay, literally, you couldn't pay someone to fight you. Do you think things worked out great? Because this is a huge opportunity against a guy who's got a lot of steam behind him, you know, bringing your eye favor down. A win here is monumental, not just for you, but for your team, for the area. I mean, it's a big deal.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely a big deal. As soon as they told me who it was, I was extra excited just to fight. You know, I know you're trying to team out from there and everything, and I didn't know Uriah's going to be there, but that's pretty cool. Uriah's going to be there. I know Stipe's going to be there. But, you know, I'm just excited to fight, man. I've been waiting since April to fight, and I said, man, I'm ready to go.
Like we know, he trains at a big camp, but you got the opportunity to go train at a big camp. Tell me about your trip to Florida, man. Give me all the juicy details.
My trip to Florida, I mean, it was training all day. I really didn't get to enjoy myself. It was basically a business trip. You know, I trained every day, all day with those guys up there. I probably had like good 30 minutes to myself when me and Chris Bennett went to the beach. And then after that, we went right back to the gym. So it was business going up there. I went up there to work, not to have fun. So I'm definitely prepared and ready to go on Saturday.
What was it like being in one of the, you know, the most well-known, most well-respected gyms where champions come from, man? You know, there's been a ton of people come through there. What was it like training there, and how did you feel you fit in with all those guys?
It was a little different from what I was used to, but I adjusted quick. I mean, they took me on like I was part of the team. They didn't treat me any different. So, you know, I got to work with all the coaches up there, work on some new techniques and everything, and it was awesome. I'll go back up there. I'm supposed to go back up there maybe in November, a little bit before November, help Chris Bennett for his fight. So, I mean, yeah, I think we just formed a real partnership, man. It was fun up there. I love to go back, and that's one of the good things to us guys. They treated me like I was part of the team, for sure.
Obviously, you've got a great camp back at home. You know, what's it been like in the gym? I know that now there's Cody Garbrandt got a tough fight ahead of him. Jeff Mack's got a fight scheduled. You guys are kind of getting back in the swing of things. Basically, when nobody would fight anybody from G-Force. I know you guys have been working a lot with the guys over at Reed Academy as well. Tell me what's going on at the gym.
It's just like always. We train hard every day, and you know, Cody couldn't get a fight, but he just got started a fight, so he was a little bummed out. But ever since everybody got their fights on, and even a little bit before that, everybody's been training hard, staying in shape, getting ready just in case you always got that call. And we been working with Reed Academy, and it's the same over there. Rob White, they all working hard over there. We always work hard and just getting ready, staying in shape for that big call. You never know when it's going to happen.
Absolutely. What would this win mean for you? I mean, you're coming off this year alone. You knocked off Brandon Sandifer in a big fight. You fought Isaiah Chapman in one hell of a fight. You know, what would a win over Cody Garbrandt mean for you, not only personally, but for your team?
It definitely put my team on the map, which they should be on there anyway. They've been doing a lot of good things, and Coach Ron and everybody don't get some of the recognition that some of the other gyms do, but he definitely worked harder than some of the people I know, and winning for him and put the whole team on the map, and definitely turn heads. And we already kind of like known. We don't really get fights because we so known, but it'll help out the team a lot, and I'm going to go out there and do my best, get that done for Coach Ron.
Now, this is your second trip to NAAFS this year. What was it like fighting for him? Of course, you were on a huge show earlier this year. What's it like? I know because you fought all over. What's it like fighting for NAAFS, and what's going to be one of their biggest cards ever?
It's definitely a different atmosphere than what I'm used to. But like I said, after the XFC fight, man, that was the big one for me. And after that, I think I'm focused and I'm always ready to go. After the XFC fight, every fight feels to me like the XFC fight. So, it's not really no pressure. I'm used to it now. So all the jitters is gone. I just have one thing to do is go in there, perform in front of everybody, and put on a good show like I usually do.
This is Juan here. I have a question for you. So this weekend you obviously want to win. How do you see this fight in your eyes going down, and what are you going to say in your post-fight interview?
I think the fight is going to be. I know it's going to be entertaining because I know Cody. I've seen a couple of Cody's fights, and he's definitely aggressive. So he likes the boxer. It might be a stand-up fight for 3 rounds. Actually, that's how I picture it going. He likes the bang, and I like the bang, and he's aggressive, and I'm aggressive. So we definitely gonna collide. So it's gonna be fun tonight for sure. I know that. But as far as my speech after I win, I don't know. I usually just talk what's on my mind at that time. I don't even know what I'm gonna say.
Word. Well, I need you to, when you win, I'm going to need a special shout-out to Bluegrass MMA. So if you can just throw that in there, maybe even a shout-out to Juan, and throw in Gary in there as well. But we're going to need shout-outs as well.
I got you, man. I got you for sure.
And I think we lost Gary there. I think he's back now. Maybe not. Well, while we're waiting on him, so your trip went down to Florida. Well, you're going to have to wait now. So your trip down to Florida with American Top Team and Chris, do you plan on going back there for your next fight camp, or was that just kind of like a one-time only deal?
Yeah, I plan on going back. I don't know if it's going to be for my fight camp. I know I'm going to go back and help Chris for his fight, but, I'm comfortable down here. I got great coaches down here. I'll go back up there, for weeks at a time, but I won't make it my permanent fight camp. I like my camps down here. This is what I'm used to, It's been helping me so far, and I like it here. But I'll definitely go back for sure, train with those guys. Those guys is extra nice to me, so I plan on going back soon.
The last time we talked with you during fight camp, you're living on tuna and mustard. Is that the diet this week?
Nah, it's chicken breast this time. No mustard, but it's chicken breast. It's way better than tuna, for sure. I don't do tuna anymore, man.
You get burnt out on it?
Oh, yeah. I don't like fish. I don't like fish at all, and, I was eating that because one of my teammates was like, you got to eat some tuna, and so I was eating that. I don't even like tuna. I never eat tuna. But I found chicken breast. It saved my life. I'm sticking with chicken breast. I don't do tuna anymore.
Because of that, I've put tuna and mustard into my repertoire for lunch. Because of you. I swear to God, because of you, I tried it, and I was like, well, this ain't so. If it's all I had to eat, I'd be pissed. But I eat that now.
I mean, it's a good meal when you ain't got nothing else to eat. It tastes very good when you don't have nothing else to eat. But when you just keep eating it over and over and over, because I was fighting every month, so I was eating that every month. So yeah, it really got over after that. I couldn't do it. The chicken breast is definitely a lot better.
Why do you think that nobody would fight you around here. Hell, not even just around here. You had a fight scheduled in Pittsburgh that didn't go through. I mean, what? I love you, man, but you're not that scary to me.
I had one in Indiana too. And that one didn't go through either. The dude said no. I honestly don't know why no dudes are fighting me. It really don't matter. You know, I'll put everything in God's hands. He do it for a reason. So, you know, I got this fight, and that's what I'll focus on. Focus on Cody on Saturday night, and it's going to be exciting fighting. And then we'll figure out afterwards what's going to happen. Hopefully, after this fight, I start getting the big calls, Bellator, UFC, or something like that.
Absolutely. Well, man, I know it's fight week. I know it's a big task at hand for you Saturday. We will be there. Well, Juan will be there in support. You know, this is a fight that I've said since it was booked. It's got Fight of the Year written all over it. So I wish you nothing but the best for the rest of the week. Got the big weekend coming up. Before I let you go, you know how we do it. Any shout-outs, any thank yous, or anything like that?
Oh, yeah, of course. First, I want to thank you guys for having me on here, man. I love being on this show. You guys do a good job. Sometimes you guys don't even get, full credit for what you guys do, all the traveling you do. So thank you. And I want to thank, obviously, my teammates, G-Force and Reed Academy, and I want to thank America Top Team and Chris Barrett for having me down there and helping me out, and, all my fans and supporters. And I'll be ready to go on Saturday.
Well, man, we wish you nothing but the best. Until then, we'll see you Saturday. Enjoy the week if you can, and best of luck Saturday night against Cody Garbrandt.
Thanks, guys.
There you guys go. Charles, the Trinity, Stanford. Colossal main event. If there's I can't say it enough. I mean, I've been to a lot of fights, a lot, and that's a fight that is huge. I mean, I'm a fan of both guys. It's just we're just kind of lucky to get to see that on a local level. Moving right along, looking at other big fights on the card Saturday night. I mean, how can you not be excited for this card, right? If you're a fan of local MMA and you know these guys and you know the history that they have, how they've come up, it's just a card that, you don't want to miss. Looking to score back-to-back wins over a big victory over Tommy Hayden back in June, I believe. Frank, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. How's it going?
Man, thank you so much for taking the time out to join us tonight.
No problem, man. Thanks for having me.
You snapped a 2-fight losing streak earlier this year against a tough UFC vet in Tommy Hayden. Got him to submit in the second round. How good was that fight for you, getting back on the winning track and just, over such a quality opponent?
It was definitely a big win that I needed, man, but, I didn't fight my best that night. I mean, I had some injuries going into it, and, I didn't get to train like I wanted to. But, I sucked it up, and, I go out there and fight anyways, no matter what. So, but it was definitely a good win that I needed, so especially over a UFC veteran.
You have been fighting for the NAAFS for, ever, right? You made your debut there?
2006.
It's crazy, man. Well, when you think back on that time, the young Frank back in the day, and not that you're old now, but so much has changed in the fight game. Probably personally, physically, emotionally for you. What's the biggest difference, man? I got to know.
Like you say, I'm a little older, and just I got a lot of experience now. Experience goes a long way, especially in fighting. So I think that helped me a lot.
What was the point early on when you knew that this was going to be your gig? You knew you were going to continue to be a fighter. You were going to be a professional and try to work your way to greatness.
I really never knew. I just, did it just because I like to fight. I never really thought I would do it professionally. But, things happen, and, I don't take anything back.
Now, were you the type of guy back in the day? Would you get in any street fights, or how did you come into this crazy sport?
Man, I got in plenty of street fights. when you grow up in the hood, man, you have no choice to fight, man. That's just the way it is.
So it's just a natural transition over to probably an easier transition to the cage.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing in the cage that. I mean, you could get hurt worse in the street than in the cage, so that doesn't scare me one bit.
What 2013? Hell, this is going to be your third fight this year. You've always stayed so busy. Is that a pace that you like to keep? Do you get bored during your downtime, or what's the mindset going into like setting your career, taking fights? How does all that work out for you?
I mean, there's a lot of fights that I would like to have back. I mean, a lot of them I took like on a week notice, and that's where I got most of my losses from. But when I have a full training camp, man, it's hard for me to get beat.
Who are some of the people that are helping you get ready for this fight?
Marvin Williams, he's been training with me since the beginning. My strength and conditioning coach, Kyle Crowell, Tobias Taylor, my buddy Pete, Paul Boslart, black belt, a bunch of other guys. But, I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
When it gets down this close to a fight, like how anxious do you get? Not nervous, but like ready just to get it over with, to get in the cage? Because I'm just an impatient guy. I can imagine, knowing a bunch of fighters that they're impatient as hell too.
Yeah, well, the worst part is this week, cutting away and just waiting around. Because, you're hungry, you want to eat. That's the worst week, this week.
How has your weight cut game changed over the years?
I've gotten a lot smarter with it. A lot of times I just used to cut, last minute. I didn't even know what I was doing. Sometimes I would just cut so early, and just when I get into the fight, I'd just be so tired and no strength. There's a bunch of different ways to do it, I guess.
Now that you're a little older and a little wiser, are you the kind of guy that starts his diet in the beginning of training camp and it kind of works so you don't have to cut 15, 20 pounds the night before?
Yeah, I'm big on diets. Once it's training camp time, it's diet time.
What's the biggest thing you got to cut out? Like, what's your weakness?
I don't know. I love Snicker bars. Snicker bars, pizza, the same thing everyone else likes.
Oh, the good shit. That's the problem. I talked to a fighter this weekend, and they said that when they're cutting weight, they dream about food. Has that ever happened to you?
Man, when I'm cutting weight, you know what I do? I watch the Food Channel all day. Diners, drive-ins, and dives. That's what I watch.
I couldn't do it, man. I couldn't do it. That's crazy. That's torture.
Yep. Yeah. I don't know why, man. It's just
maybe by watching it, you just like soak in. You can taste it without eating it. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
When you're looking at it, you're just thinking like, man, after the fight, I want that.
So what's your big splurge after the fight? What's the first thing you go to?
Usually I get pizza. I love pizza.
Man. Cody Stevens is a guy who's been around a long time, just like you, fought in some big fights. What's your take on him? And is this a fight that you've seen on the horizon for a while, or has he even been on your radar?
No, at the beginning I never really paid attention, but I don't know. He was fighting before I was for NAAFS, so I obviously heard of him and seen him fight a few times. But I don't know. He is what he is. I mean, he trains at Strong Style. He's tough, but nothing I've never seen before. I'm definitely going to be ready.
Is it a case where, you know, do you train specifically for an opponent, or do you just try to sharpen up your strengths and go from there?
Well, every opponent I fight, you know, they all want to take me down, so I'm always training for that. Because once they get hit, that's the first thing they go to, is trying to take me down.
But, man, nobody likes to get hit.
Yeah. Especially not by me.
Absolutely, man. The fight, you know, this is a huge card, and you've been on some big cards in your day. Like, are there any fights that you're looking forward just to be able to watch while you're there, or can you even enjoy that before your fight?
I'm probably not going to watch any fights. I'm just going to relax in the back.
You got any weird superstitions or, like, pre-fight rituals that you do?
Nah. Just go back there, put my headphones on, just relax.
I see so many guys that sleep before a fight. Are you one of those guys that can nap before the fight? There's no way in hell I could do that.
Sometimes I nap. It's good to take like a half an hour nap.
See, that just pissed me off. You know, half hour, that's nothing. Well, man, we are excited. We will be there Saturday night. It's a huge card. This is a huge fight. You know, we've followed you for a while. We've been able to see some of your fights. It's you know, this card, man, it's one of the best that I've seen in a long time, and you're a part of it. Before I let you go, though, you know, any shout-outs, any thank yous, anything you want to throw out there to our listeners?
First, I want to thank you guys for having me on. Really appreciate that. I want to thank my wife, always helping me out with my diets, my team, Kyle, Marv, all my training partners, and all the fans. You guys should be ready for this one. It's going to be a hell of a night.
Well, man, I hope the weight cut goes smooth. Hope everything's smooth sailing. No injuries. You come out clean on Saturday. We'll be there. Until then, take care, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it.
There you guys go. Frank Carabello. This Saturday night, NAAFS Rock and Rumble number 8. Rock and Rumble's usually, you know, it's like Fight Night in the Flats. It's one of the showcase cards, and by God, this is a showcase. I'll be honest, man. And Juan, you know this. I'm not the biggest fan of Ohio MMA. I'm not a hater, but I don't know it as well as Juan does. You know, I don't know the players as well as Juan does or David McKinney. But damn, I know these guys, and I know that. There'd have to be something really, really fucked up for this fight card to go wrong.
Absolutely. And
like the venue catches fire or something. That can be the only situation I see where this could turn out to be a bad night.
Well, it could happen. Something could happen that took place this past weekend. So at the U.S. Fight Series 3 event, I was at before I get into that, to all the listeners who may or may not know, whenever you put a MMA event on, you have to have paramedics on scene just in case something were to happen. Most promoters only bring in one pair of paramedics because, 9.5 times out of 10, they're never needed. But in the rare case that they are needed, if they need to transplant or transport a fighter to the hospital,
if they need to do a liver transplant, they're there
on scene. They ask for volunteers in the audience. But if they have to transport a fighter to the hospital and they leave, obviously, if they don't have backup paramedics, the show has to be put on hold until the paramedics come back to the event, back to the venue from the hospital. So this past weekend at the U.S. Fight Series 3 event, a fighter had to be taken to the hospital, and there's only the one staff on hand. So we had to wait. It's probably like 30 minutes or so.
But it felt like forever.
Oh, it did feel like forever. And so hopefully something like that doesn't happen. But yeah, the venue catching on fire, the paramedics having to leave. You don't want nothing like that to happen with such a great event that goes down this weekend.
No, two great events. There's more than that. Friday night MFS back at 8 Second Saloon. Always a good show to check out. Doug Day and Extreme Fighting Champions, they're doing a show in Lexington on Saturday. So there's tons of MMA to get out and support. If you're just curious about it, or you're a fan, I don't think the UFC card's very good. Rory McDonald's in the main event, so fuck that.
You're right. I mean, there's just
one thing that Juan and I have been talking about here. It just amazes me. Kung Lee gets popped for steroids. Who would have thunk it?
I think everybody in the world, including his opponent Michael Bisping.
He was ripped for a 100-year-old man.
Dude, he was. I mean, anybody who saw the before pictures knew that he was on something. I mean, there was no doubt about it. And the fact that Michael Bisping even called him out on it beforehand, it's amazing. And how he would even, and the reason I think he went through with this, at least I'm hoping, is that the fight was over in China. China doesn't have a sanctioning body, so he thought he might be able to slip under the radar. Unfortunately, the UFC tested him, and he got popped. But, I mean, why would you even risk that? I mean, everybody knows what happened to Chael. Why would you even put your career on the line to possibly win a fight? And he didn't even win. He got his ass handed to him.
Here's the statement from the UFC. UFC middleweight Kung Lee tested positive for an excessive level of human growth hormone in his system following his fight at UFC Fight Night in Macau, China on August 23rd. Due to his positive test result, Lee was suspended by the UFC and notified that he violated the fighter conduct policy and promotional agreement with Zuffa LLC. The UFC has a strict, consistent policy against the use of any illegal and or performance-enhancing drugs, stimulants, or masking agents by our athletes. Lee will serve a 9-month suspension and, at the conclusion, will need to pass a drug test before competing in the UFC again. Will we ever see Kung Lee again?
I don't think so. Given the beatdown he just received and now the 9-month suspension, I think he's going to return to making movies and call it the end of his career in the fight game.
Yeah, I mean, he took brutal punishment. Before the fight, he was talking about, he could still see himself fighting Anderson Silva, and not going to happen.
Well, I mean, maybe if he buys the UFC video game and plays it himself, I mean, he can fight anybody he wants to in that case.
We're almost out of time. We are super fucking excited, if you didn't already know. It took like 90 minutes, but the F-bombs have started to fly, so we apologize for that. Juan, watch your mouth.
Wait, who's fucking excited here?
Everybody should be fucking excited for this weekend. Huge weekend in mixed martial arts. We've had so many great weekends this year, and we still got time left. We just eclipsed the 5,000 fan mark on Facebook. We love each and every one of you to death for showing support. It really, for those that don't know, in 2011 we were stuck at 24 likes for 7 months. 24 likes for 7 months. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't believe that.
It felt like forever. And mostly it was just my friends that I spammed to death to like the page. But if you've not...
And they did it out of desperation.
If you're not one of the 5,000, Facebook.com/BluegrassMMA, Twitter.com/BluegrassMMA, Instagram is at BluegrassMMA, Pinterest is at BluegrassMMA, Tumblr is at BluegrassMMA, Twitch.tv is at motherfucking BluegrassMMA.
When did we ever get a Tumblr account?
I signed up for one the other day. I've not put anything on it, but.
And why are you just now informing me? Why don't I have to find out when everybody else finds out?
Tumblr's weird, dude. Tumblr's like a blog kind of site where you can just post blogs and pictures. It's like a Instagram with a ton of words, for me at least. So the people I follow, like I followed the UFC and a bunch of gamers, and I really didn't find any fighters or anything there.
Right, because Tumblr is more for the creative crowd, not so much the fight. Well, now we need to take pictures.
We're diverse. See, you're fucking, you butting in right there cost us that last few seconds of live time for me to promote the ProMMANow.com radio network. And tomorrow night I will be hosting championship rounds with Brad and Greasy, interviewing Ken Shamrock and a bunch of other guys. Should be awesome. Thursday Night Pro championship rounds here on Block Talk Radio.
What the heck is that? I've never heard of it. It's
like their second show, so.
I gotcha.
Brad's a firefighter. Brad used to be with MMA Mayhem. He left them. He's got the pro wrestler voice. I met him at the XFC 2 years ago down in Nashville.
MMA Mayhem.
Yeah.
Is that Mayhem Radio? Same people?
MMA Mayhem Radio, yeah.
No.
It was. He doesn't work. Obviously, doesn't work there anymore.
Yeah, the only one I know is the tall
Joel.
That's the only one I know.
Joel's a good dude. They're all good people.
He is.
Everybody in MMA is good people.
Dude,
right?
they have a professional in studio set up, and I'm jealous. Not gonna lie.
Well, that's where they all went to broadcasting school there, so they get to use that like free of charge.
Yeah, I know, and I'm jealous.
Are you saying our setup's not professional?
If you call me sitting on my couch with a mic right next to my mouth professional, then yes, we are the Donald Trump of podcasts.
Mic on one side, cock on the other. That's how Juan Valley rolls. Aaron Garrett will not be joining us for any extra. Well, it doesn't matter. Nobody's ever heard any of our extra podcasts.
No.
But
we need to officially create a name, a format, a logo. I mean, we have nothing. So it's pretty much us just on a three-way call talking. Wasting an hour of our lives doing nothing. Getting nothing accomplished. Honestly, what we need to do...
It's fun, though.
No,
I think it's
fun.
entertaining.
It's very fun. So I like our current format where we interview fighters because it gives us a chance to connect with everyone in our region. But I would like to do it so where we're talking like an actual podcast. Yeah.
Like a Joe Rogan
Maybe
style?
have a blend. Yeah, so maybe we have our 2-hour format. So maybe, actually do an hour of us talking, an hour of interviews. And that way also the interviews aren't as rushed because tonight we had a lot of guests tonight, so we kind of had to rush through everybody to get them on the live portion. So, maybe we start the first hour with interviews, then the second hour will be us talking. That way we can get into the archive portion as well and kind of go from there.
We'll see. We're almost at 200.
We are. So why don't we make this a goal 200 episode, which is in 12 weeks. 12 weeks is 3 months, which New Year's. So that'll put us right around New Year.
That's when we get our new intros made. We'll take on new sponsors and such like that.
Absolutely. I'm excited for our new intro. It's going to be, I come from the land down under.
All right.
You know what I'm talking about.
No. I know that song. Stitcher, iTunes, Blog Talk. That's where you can find us. Back next week. What is next week? What is the 11th? I feel like are you going to Coliseum Combat, OFC?
And then OFC. Well, you're going to go to Coliseum Combat. I'm going to go to OFC.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Gary Copeland.
Exactly.
So instead of driving to Juan's house to go to Kokomo, I'm going to drive to the same area. How far does Cope live away from you?
Far. So you're actually going to be driving further.
God damn it.
You're going to be driving up past Kings Island.
The things I do for this sport.
Dude, you don't do nothing compared to what I do, so calm down.
By the end of Thursday night, I will have done over 5 hours of this right here, while you may have wrote 3 articles.
3 tonight, yes. Good job.
3 tonight. I've seen you post one. Let's look. Let's see. Don't go anywhere, kids. I'm about to break some news here.
Little does he know, I just put him on mute. He ain't going to break nothing down because he doesn't have shit to say. And that's the bottom line. And he still hasn't unmuted himself, so.
That's because I was still looking.
Well, we're going to put him back on mute. And he's not going to say nothing.
Little does Juan know, I just disconnected him from the call. So here's the stuff. He's still messing with me.